My third guy plays some games.
Alright, hi y'all, Weather Guy here. We are once again back with more of the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are on the Twisted Karma in his last bow, I believe that's called. And we're just had the revelation about who Mr. Gossip really is, which is Vigil. And we're going to hear more about what he has to say about all of that. Let's get into it. We are now seeing your true features, I presume. Well, I don't want to give him that ridiculous voice anymore. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. He seems like a good guy, right? It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but... See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. Extraordinary. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi in the park was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as a chief warder at Barclay Prison. Chief warder? Then your career had promised. Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years? I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true, I am Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago? So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. Here we go, we got more testimony. Or maybe not testimony, just facts, straight up. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. Your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. Scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. So actually, he wasn't the one it's not his notice board. It's not Gregson's notice board, it's Vigil's notice board still. And Vigil was the one trying to investigate the Reaper stuff, not Gregson. Why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead you decided to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at sixpence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. The inspector, that is, recognized me one day. You mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. From that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orky's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that I and Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. Scotland Yard Inspector willingly relinquished his identification in your care with intent to deceive. That, as I am sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, if I end up a croaker. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my Boone disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. We still have no idea who actually killed Gregson, because I don't think Vigil did it. Doesn't make sense. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. What? Explain yourself, Prosecutor Sogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered. The hands of these two Red-Headed League men when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me. Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Federance, for proving it. What? Order. Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven somewhat ironically by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Uh-oh. Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma. What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago. The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh, answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Naturally, it is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, counsel? Kazuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Kazuma, no wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments. His own father. I know, I do understand that, but even so... Prosecutor Asogi, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. The defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness. Oh, come on, let's hear it. The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten? I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Interesting. Do we have another person with amnesia? That's becoming a pattern. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Ryu? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time. To have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job? Yes, you're right. Not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry, the human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface, and when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't... Kazuma... But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried, it's coming out one way or another. Yeah, we gotta know. Alright, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He needs to expose the truth, at any cost. This is great stuff. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? Do it. I have no idea how this is gonna go. This is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Oh gosh, what could it even be? I'm guessing it's gonna have to be the dismissal notice.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice? And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake, I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? He's gonna start remembering stuff. If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been some good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th June 10 years ago, and on that day something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. 17th of June? Was that the professor's execution? Professor? As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17th June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? Bad memories. Yes, the whole prison, it was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. Shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? What? Well, order. Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, an October. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? Look at this frame. In Lowgate Cemetery at plot North 139, blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously something terrible had happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. The conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? Oh no. Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. Dude, he must be so dizzy. One evening a few days ago after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. Spinning faster. He hasn't aged a day. Sorry, Daly, this is a serious business, but I can help you know. As chief warder, you are responsible for overseeing the execution of four, eh? Well, it seems the fellows of Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words about it. You'd better pack your things, laddie. You are to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, Professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Oh man. Whoa! Whoa! No! He died? Order, order! Bailiff, fetch a doctor at once! Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect. What the hell?
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Alright, there we go. That's the end right there. Holy moly, holy macaroni. That's the end of today's video. Next time we're going to do, I don't know what's next at all actually. We'll see. But quite the revelation there. I have no idea what's coming next. I still have no idea who actually killed Rexon, which is worrying. But that's all I got. Thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all are amazing. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Make sure you take care of others, and I will see you next time. Peace out.